What is going on, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Processed. And last episode, we were discussing this team, this roster, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and we did not get time to finish everyone. So there's a lot to dive into. The bench players, Tobias Harris, Josh Richardson, Shake Milton. We will discuss it all. But first, of course, D-Ray, how are you today?
Doing great, man. A little hot.
A little hot. Now,
a little hot today.
Are you going AC or are you rocking the fans?
I got the fan on right now, and it's it ain't getting it done. It ain't getting it done. I got my hold up. Got my water right here. You know what I mean?
Got to stay hydrated.
Exactly.
Now you can see here.
On this.
Now you can see here. I have this right, and you would think, oh, you keep refilling it, you keep drinking it. This has been here for, I don't know, 7-8 days, and I told myself I drink 2 a day. It just sits here, and the problem is I keep refilling this, which is the coffee cup, and I don't drink the water. So
That's why you got the energy. That's why you got the energy.
Yeah, I tried it. But back to the AC thing real quick, It's funny because I'm moving into my own house and I'm thinking, oh, wow, we're definitely going to be opening the windows over the AC. But when you live with your parents, you get to jack that thing down to 65 and not worry about it. Now I'm going to start feeling the pain and understanding what the hell they were talking about.
You walk in the crib, why is the air on? Why is the air on? If you're hot, go run. The wind will move faster. Tell me.
You know how there's always those jokes where dads know? Like as soon as you walk in, it's as if the dad understands it's 1 degree off the second he walks into the house.
Wakes up out of his sleep. Like,
who turned it down?
Somebody just touched the thermostat. Somebody just touched it.
That is incredible. Well, let's talk about some basketball today.
Hell yeah.
Did you see the pictures of Ben Simmons?
Yes.
What'd you think?
The Supers took?
What'd you think?
Yeah, man. He looks jacked. And I think what I like about it the most is if you look at those exercises he was doing, the split squats and the bench, all the bench press, I was like, he looks mobile. You couldn't do those things with an injured back. You know what I mean? So
now shame on me because I guess I'm so brainwashed and I forgot all about the back injury when I saw those pictures for a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is totally different now. I have a totally different opinion on it, and now I'm super stoked. I saw the pictures, and I was just pumped about basketball. I was just so excited to see Ben Simmons, right? He had the headband on, which I thought was sick. The back injury just went right over my head. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even process the back injury at all. I mean, shame on me, no?
Yeah. I was about to say, I mean, but I get it. It was like, I mean, you see the Bruce Leroy headband, you know what I mean? You saw the cutoff shirt. So it's like, all right, you don't look at this at first, it's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? It's him. It's in the gym. He looks ready. But like I said, I'm looking at the motions he's doing. Like, you couldn't do any of these. Like those bench press with that much weight, if you got a back injury, you're going to feel that. You know what I mean? Split squats. You can't get up with a back injury. So I was excited. I'm like, yo, he looks healthy more than anything. Like, that's the word I'm going with. Healthy.
But that's right way to look at it, and I'm pissed at myself that I didn't even do that. I mean, I'm disappointed.
Bro. As long as you got excited. If somebody saw them Jones and didn't look forward to the season, it's like, oh, you in the wrong place, bro.
Now, how do you feel about that headband rock? Because that is insane, and I'm pretty sure the league said that you're not allowed to rock headbands like that when Jimmy Butler was here and they were rocking those type of headbands. Dude, talk about swag, am I right?
I love the Bruce Leroy headband. I love it with the ties. They look like they about to just get off the court and go do kung fu. I'm for it. I'm definitely for it. Now, why do I feel like you own one?
Oh, dude, right next to me. I might. I have a bag here, and it's just. It's funny. This is unplanned. Now they're just a set of bandanas. I mean, you name the color here, and I got them. Where's the other ones? Some of them might actually be in the wash. Yeah, they're not all in here, but I just got 10 different colors, and they're different headbands. They're bandanas, but I rock them that way. You know what I mean? And when I'm balling, I rock them as well. So
I'm a fan.
Now, if you were at practice, right? Everyone's waiting for you. Somehow you're tying your shoe. Everyone's waiting for you to come out, and you came out on that Villanova court in that headband. Are people going, yo, what the hell is D-Ray wearing? Or are they dapping you up or getting you pumped up about rocking something sick?
So you know how it goes. Your boys would dap you up, and they're like, yeah, you got it. But the moment coach asks what the hell is going on, everybody's going to step back. Everybody's going to step back. There is no way that anybody's dealing with that. He would lose his shit if somebody came out with a headband, period, but especially that one.
No, why? Why?
No, it's just it's not the way it goes. It's such a distraction. It's such a distraction.
See, I think that's an energy boost. See, if I'm on a team, here comes Broads, and out of nowhere, I come out in that headband, I think the energy in practice has now been lifted because I wore that headband. So I might have to have a talk with Coach Wright. I mean, what? So you can't wear anything?
No. I ain't going to say that. You got the arm sleeves and all that the trainers, what's the name, but headbands and wristbands and stuff like that, like we're back in the early 2000s. No,
I'm taking back, dude. I'm taking back right now.
Imagine with that headband is like while somebody's doing suicides to see the back of it like going and like just flailing in the back. I would lose my shit. It's something about that image. Like, let's say you beat the team and the team that lost, they got to run and you're on the sidelines clapping. You see that one guy, his headband is like flailing off. I would cry. It's a distraction.
I'm just lost for words almost, and that's not a good thing when you're recording a show. I mean, I don't understand how that's a distraction. I think that is swag. You should be allowed to have personality. I'm seriously disgusted, and I might write a strongly worded email over to Coach. Or maybe I'll slide into his DMs.
Yeah.
Change the culture over there. Coach, you're not doing good enough. That's what I'm going to say.
Good luck with that. The damn army.
Yeah. Oh, I can only imagine. Now, before we get into the conversation, I'm just so intrigued. When it comes to suicides, were you a first place guy, last place, middle of the pack? How did you approach the suicides? Did you strategically go, all right, listen, if I sit here, I won't get yelled at, but I can still do the third set okay?
Nah, I was a middle of the pack guy. I wasn't the fastest in college at all. I remember like Dante was very fast. Like he was like scary fast. Josh was another fast guy. James Bell was fast when he was there. For me, it wasn't until I got overseas that I started being first. And I messed up because what happened is he would have the big guys run with the big guys and he would give us a couple more seconds. And then once he saw how fast I was, he's like, oh, yeah, no, you're running with the guards. You're running with the guards now. Yeah.
Oh, you screwed up big time.
It's a late bloomer.
How would you know?
Huh?
How would you know that would happen?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm sitting there. You know what? You do what you can. You push yourself. But once he saw that, he was like, oh, big guy. That's all he'll call me. Big guy. Come here. Big guy. Yeah, no, you run with guards now.
Yeah, see, with me, by the end of my career, I guess I was just so checked out that, yeah, I'll be in last. Yeah, whatever. I guess that's kind of, I was like,
we all call them the start stops.
Oh, no, we call them suicides. You just go the blue line back, red line back, blue line back, far goal line back. I mean, there's so many different variations of it, but at least, though, I did not get beat by the goalies. I did have a teammate that got beat by the goalies, and that's how you know you're really not trying.
I was about to say, it was always that one guy that if you lose to him, it's like, bullshit.
Yeah. So by the end of my career, there was a time where I was close. I wasn't the guy, but I was close, and then I thought to myself, maybe that's saying something. Maybe it's time, but I'm all right with it. All right, basketball. It looks like it is possible that the league might condense their season next year, and this is just absurd. So right now, they are trying to talk about December 1st starting next year, and it looks like there was a little bit of a surprise by the union, so I wouldn't be shocked if they try and push that back and they fight that December 1st date. But what is crazy is they are still trying to get 82 games in next year, but finishing normal time, as if they'll finish around May, June, and that would lead to more back-to-backs. That would lead to 4 games in 5 nights, and we are already talking about every year a league that they rest their players, that people do load management. I mean, I don't understand how this would work at all.
I think either they're going to start penalizing people for load management, or they're going to have a strike on their hands. You know what I mean? I don't see how. Oh, both. You know what I mean? Maybe they penalize people for load management, and then it's like, because there's no way in hell the players are going for that. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's like 4 or 5 games a week consistently. It's one thing to have that, we got a hard week coming up. We got a hard stretch coming up. Oh, this month is a little more difficult than the last. But for that to be the norm, there's no way in hell them players are going for that. That'd be stupid of them to do that. And because you're going to have a strike, and next thing you got another lockout. Like, why? After all of this, why do that? It's ridiculous.
No, I would have to agree. And it seems like an odd thing to even come up with. Like, this isn't confirmed. It's not as if they're moving forward with this and the NBA is pushing hard, kind of like the MLB and the union situation. Yeah. It's not that way. It's just something that's on the table and discussed. But it seems so silly. It's almost as if I feel Adam Silver is too smart and the NBA as a league is too smart to even have this on the table as an option, because it doesn't seem realistic at all.
At all, bro. Like, think about it. Like, I mean, you play at the college level, you know how tiring that was. So the pros is just that much more worse. Yeah, they don't practice like that, but they have to get up for those games. And you're talking about 82 games being condensed down that much. It's foolish. I think it's time for them to shorten up the season.
Yeah,
experiment this year.
We all do think that, and the problem is it creates too much money. I mean, with 82 games, it's about that contract with the TV networks, and that's where it's all about. Now, if you cut it back to 65 games, sure, you can say that tickets will be more expensive because there's less games to go to and things like that, but then you're getting less sponsorship ads. You're losing out on ads on TV. You're losing out on those games that are on these regional networks. I mean, there's just no way to do it because they make too much money. I think everyone would agree that they don't need that many games in a regular season, but what talks? Money talks, and there's no way to really stop it.
Yeah, no, it's a hell of a machine. It's a hell of a machine, but for me, it's like you look at the Kawhis of the world. Like, he's shown that it worked. The Spurs have shown time and time again that it works. You know what I mean? Like, load management is real. So instead of putting players in that position to make that decision themselves, like I said, after they won that championship last year, nobody could say anything about load management. They were giving Kawhi shit all season. They win, and now it's like, I mean, can you really argue with this? If the proof is in the pudding. He did it when he was with the Spurs, when he was surrounded by players that did it. Now he's doing it on his own, another team, and they go and win a championship. Like, what does it tell you? So instead of putting that pressure on the players to make that decision, why not put the pressure on the league to make them just never even think about it? Because then you get the most out of them. I think you're right. It's economics. The problem is much bigger than just wanting the players to be good, but they got to do something, bro.
Yeah, when you see it work, that's the problem. It works. Yes. It works. It results in a championship. So to think that the league even had something maybe in their mind, even if it was the 9th option on the table, to think that, 4 games in 5 nights and way more back-to-backs, that's phenomenal. That would be great. I mean, hey, listen, if it's the 9th option and we get there, all right, we'll move forward with it. There's no way. I mean, there's just literally no way that this is out there. And there is one thing that I do love about the NBA compared to other leagues, and we are seeing a nightmare, and I mean nightmare scenario between baseball and the union right now. It's so embarrassing and pathetic, it's hard to even wrap my head around it. But when you see Adam Silver and you see the way that he approaches the union and he talks to Chris Paul, and it's more of a we thing. They sit down together. All right, what are we going to do to make this better? What are we going to do to move forward and be on the same page, compared to the alternative of the players hate the owners, they despise the union. I mean, the owners despise the union and the union hates the owners. Why does it have to be that way? I love the fact that the NBA's culture is about us. It's we're one. It's not two parties fighting to get their product out there.
I think he learned that from, David Stern. At the end of the day, it's like David Stern, because of where he was when the league was being built up, because people forget that, like, in the 60s, it was laughable. In the 70s, they were still kind of building. You know what I mean? Actually, in the 60s, it didn't exist. Let me stop. In the 70s, they were still kind of building. In the 80s, they were still kind of building. And it wasn't until David Stern said, listen, these are the players. They're the most important thing. Figure out how to work with them to get them to a point where, like you said, it's a more of a we thing, because at the end of the day, nothing happens without them. You heard Michael Jordan griping about it in The Last Dance. Like, the players are the most important. And it's just any league that doesn't listen to the players. You listen to them on everything? Hell no. Same way a coach wouldn't listen to us on everything we bring to the table. But you got to give something. You know what I mean? The idea of what's going on with the MLB, it's stupid. It's stupid. The players are the most important thing, because without them, nothing happens.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But some people would argue that, well, I really don't even want to get down that baseball hole, but The other side of that argument is, hey, without the owners making that much money, there's no baseball players getting paid that much money either. But I'm
not
not
owners
going
get paid.
Right. Listen, I'm not going down that road.
Yeah.
In this scenario with baseball, both sides are being extremely pathetic. One won't move, the other won't move. During a pandemic when there's no other sports on, you both got to give some. I mean, it's just that simple, right? But I'll lose my mind, D-Ray. I've been screaming and going crazy about the MLB and the MLB union for the last 7 days on 97.3 ESPN. I mean, my blood's going to boil. Just look at me right now. See what you did to me? You did this. You did this.
Actually, it's right behind you. I'm about to say it's right behind you. I can't not.
I think I brought it up, huh? I think that was me. All right. Anyway,
you did this. Looking at the mirror.
It was you. Let's talk Sixers though. Let's get into their roster. It's some of the pieces we did not get to discuss on last episode, and let's start with Tobias Harris, because when people discuss this team, they talk about Ben Simmons. They talk about Joel Embiid. They talk about how awful the fit is of Al Horford. They rip around the pieces. Then some people might get into Elton Brand, he's the one that put this team together. You know who never really gets talked about that much? It's Tobias. Now, sometimes the contract is mentioned. Oh, he's not worth this much. But his play isn't really talked about. What he does on the court isn't being talked about. And what does he need to do? Or we'll start here. Why do you think that is?
I think it is because he's so solid. He's so solid. He's not a loud player. I mean, the guy averages, it's either 19 or 20 points. You know what you're going to get out of him. You know what I mean? He's right there. When the season ended, he was the second highest scorer on the team. So he's just such a solid guy. You know what you're going to get on a day in and day out. And we talked about that last year when they were like, you know, if it comes down to him or Jimmy Butler, and people were saying, yes, Jimmy Butler has the attitude, but Tobias Harris, you know, between 15 and 20 points a night, you know you're going to get it. He's going to give you more than 5 rebounds. He's going to run the floor. He's going to do his thing. Like, he's so, dare I say, boring in the sense of like, not seriously. I mean, from a personality standpoint.
His game doesn't pop. It's just there. But that's when the contract comes in, though. It's, oh, you paid $100 million for someone who's just boring and doesn't pop.
Mm-hmm. But to me, my attitude is this: if it's about winning, people who are looking at winning, they look at Tobias Harris and they like him. If you're about entertainment, maybe not. Is he going to throw down crazy dunks? No. Is he going to windmill in transition? No. Is he going to stop and pull up for a 3 and then, you know, do some wild crowd celebration? Hell no, probably not. It's not his personality. But winning, you need that guy. You need that guy who's that consistent. You need that guy that, all right, when Joel's kind of bullshitting or Ben Simmons isn't being aggressive, I know Tobias is going to give me between 15 and 20 points.
If the Sixers want to win a championship this year, if Tobias Harris gave you what he has given you so far this year, do you think it's enough? Or do you think he needs to take a step up? I mean, look, if Ben and Joel play at the top of their game, if Tobias is giving you 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, sure, I think you can do that. But overall, I would say that I feel, and I'm a Tobias Harris fan, I think keeping him was fine. I'm under the impression that if Ben and Joel are the players we expect them to be, you can totally overpay for a Tobias Harris and be fine. The problem is the Al Horford contract. That contract would open up other pieces to help you. So I'm okay with the Tobias Harris thing. But I still think, though, that he needs to, and it doesn't have to be this major jump, he needs to take a step in the right direction. And I just feel he is what he is at his age. Like, I don't look at him and go, he's going to develop into much more. This is what he is.
You got what you got. You got what you got at this point. You saw what he did with the Clippers. Like, he is, like you said, thank you. That's the best way to put it. He is who he is, but that's fine on a team that has so much fluctuation and so many variables. And we talk about Shake Milton, you know, from time to time and how good he could be. We talk about Ben Simmons and how good he could be and what he has to do and all of that. It's like with so many variables, you don't need another one. You need a guy that, like you said, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, but you can count that. You know what I mean? Like at the start of the game, count that shit. And not to mention, he's one of the guys that stretches the floor. I understand he has a nice little pull-up game. Sometimes he works inside the arc, but like he can shoot a 3 and consistently make it. I get it. From an entertainment standpoint, not the favorite guy. at all. That's why you got Joel out there doing this and, and doing all his shit and blah, 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 and Ben Simmons yelling. From an entertainment standpoint, he's not the guy. But a consistent standpoint, you don't win without him. You don't. I think he needs to take it up just a little bit, like you said. Maybe that 22, 23 points, maybe 6 rebounds turns to 8. You know what I mean? Maybe he get a couple more steals, get in the passing lanes. But for him to ask him to turn into, I don't know, Clay or LeBron, it's like, it's not going to happen. He is who he is.
We have a segment on 97.3 called Ask Mike and Broads, and we actually had a question about Tobias, and the question was, do you guys think that he needs more dog? And I think the answer is yes, but I don't think that you're going to get that, and I don't think that that's necessarily, is it a bad thing? Sure. I mean, I guess you could say that's a bad thing that you won't get the dog, but I don't think that it is insanely necessary to have a Jimmy Butler type dog attitude if you're Tobias, because I always go back to this. People love it. I think me and you love the Jimmy Butler dog in him, but that dog in Jimmy Butler has not won him NBA title. So it's not as if that is extremely necessary. Do I think he needs more dog? Yes. But I don't think that it is the difference in winning the title or not. The winning the title aspect goes on the two guys, Ben Simmons and Joel.
Yeah, and it doesn't. This is my attitude with that whole dog shit. You know what I mean? I feel like you understand it. You know what I mean? I think anybody that play hockey understand it because y'all a different pedigree. Y'all have to have a different mindset. But for me, people who just watch basketball and want that dog shit, they talk about somebody needs to be that dog. Who and then they want to bring up how this team has it, that team has it. Who's the dog on Golden State Warriors?
I mean, I guess you could say Draymond Green.
Is Draymond Green anywhere close to being the best player?
No.
Exactly. So it's like, all right, you go and get him, but that ain't gotta be the guy. Like, why does it seem? I get it because Kobe and Jordan were who they were. Like, you feel like the guy has to be that dog. Maybe that dog is in several people. Maybe that dog is kind of spread up. But like, look what they did without that. Or if you want to say Draymond Green, because to me, it's like I get it, but I don't really call Draymond Green a dog. I respect his hustle, but for me, it's like, just because you loud don't make you a dog. You know what I mean? I think his work ethic makes him a bit of a horse. Like, he's that workhorse. He's that one that, that Dennis Rodman type character. You know that he's going to lay it all out there. But personally, I don't think Draymond Green's a dog. And you see what they just did. So that whole idea of, oh, you need that dog mentality, like, yeah, would it be great? Do Philly fans want to see it? Because we're Philly fans? Hell yeah. But I don't think it's necessary.
Well, production is key, right? So I would say that a lot of people enjoy Matisse Thybulle. And look, he does not have dog in him. He's the nicest kid. He's got a good smile. He's got a relatable personality, right? I mean,
he's the mayor.
Goofy. Yeah, he's not a dog, but people love his game because he gets a steal here and his production is there on the defensive side of the ball. So why is it that Tobias needs more dog, but someone like Matisse who takes pride in his D, who is insanely talented with his hands, quick hands, getting deflections, getting steals, he doesn't need more dog? I mean, it just comes down to actually being able to be a factor on the court, and Tobias Harris is a factor on the court. There is one thing, though, that does stand out to me with Tobias, and I'm going off the top of my head because I looked up the stats on Friday or the last show or whatever when I was talking about Tobias last. He shot around 41% from three in LA with the Clippers, and he's shooting around 36, 37 here in Philly. And, you know, that might not sound like a lot, but that is a big-time difference. So why? Is it because the spacing on the floor is whack when there's Joel, Embiid, or obviously they're the same people, Joel, Al Horford, and Ben Simmons, and Tobias is playing the three? Is that a reason?
I think it's because on the Clippers, his shots were a little more spot up. His shots were a little more spot up. They were a little more orchestrated. The Clippers had a different scheme. And quite frankly, they got him the ball a little bit more. It's like he does what he does without having the ball in his hands a shit ton. Or I'm not going to say being looked for, because obviously you don't get 19 points a game without being looked for. But he gets his shots off of, like, the ball is just scrambling things. It's just, let's call it what the fuck it is. The Sixers don't have everything figured out. That affects shooters. At the end of the day, shooters shoot from rhythm. Any great shooter shoots from rhythm. Part of being in rhythm is knowing when you're going to get your shots. It's hard as hell to be a consistent great. That's what makes Steph so crazy, because they don't necessarily need rhythm, or his shots don't have to be orchestrated for him to shoot that high of a clip. But most guys who shoot that good from three, they know when in the game. Like Chris. Everybody loves Chris Jenkins. Chris knew when he was getting certain shots. It was certain plays he knew that the ball was either going to somebody else or me. It was certain times of the game where he knew he's able to get off more. Shooters, great shooters, shoot great when they know they're getting shots, not when it's like a guessing game or I got to make something happen here.
When did you know you were getting shots?
Shit. Offensively, I said when I went and got it off the glass.
Let's go.
Or pick and roll, or mean pick and roll. You know
I wish you were still playing, dude. I'd be I'd be your number one fan in the stands going crazy.
Stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. I'm trying to get back. That's another thing,
whoa. You can't just go over that statement. What do you mean you're trying to get back?
I'm trying to get back.
Yeah?
I'm trying to get back. Yeah, man. You know it.
Breaking news.
Yeah. No. I was out there running yesterday. I worked out behind the Art Museum. I'm trying to get back, man. I missed the game. Game.
What's the first step in getting back though? Like, what's your mindset? Is this another overseas trip or?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, man. We got this. I gotta be here.
Well,
for
listen.
This shit.
That's the power of Zoom.
Hell no. I think we be scheduling these at like 2 in the morning, like you're about to go to bed, and I'm like wide awake.
I'm such a good teammate that I'll be the one at 2 a.m. Even if it's 8 p.m. wherever you are. I'll take one for the team. You kidding me? You don't think I'd do that?
my man, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
but no, man, I want to get back. I would love to jump in the G League. You know what I mean? Try the coffee, exactly.
Yeah, the coffee will keep me up. Of course. It's not really you. I just I need a reason to drink coffee at 1 a.m. That's all. It has nothing to do with this.
I'm for it, man. I'm for it. But like I said, I want to get back. But that's another thing I do want to talk about with damn, I forgot his name, Tobias Harris. The pick and roll game. Am I crazy for thinking he had more pick and roll opportunities in LA than he does here?
I think that's probably a realistic thing to say. Yeah, I mean, the Sixers just don't run a lot of pick and roll in general. It's just something that Brett Brown does not elect to do. And there is a couple things that I do question with Brett Brown. We both know that we enjoy him, and we're not one of the scream fire, get rid of him, he's a clown guy. But, you know, one of the knocks that I do have on Brett is the lack of pick and roll in a league where the entire offensive scheme, for the most part, is pick and roll or just use a pick to get the mismatch that you want. The use of the pick and roll here in Philly is something that I don't really, I don't enjoy the lack of pick and roll.
And why do you think that is?
Well, I wonder if it starts with Ben Simmons and his inability to shoot, that if you run a pick and roll with your point guard, what's the team going to do? They're going to back up and pretty much go with Joel Embiid, and that leaves Ben Simmons wide open in a spot where he's not going to shoot the ball.
I was about to say the same thing. I think it's really between him and Joel. People talk about the lack of pick and roll in Philly, and I looked at it, I said, Joel, number one, it's a conditioning problem. Whoever's running pick and roll, they have to be able to get out there fast and get back fast and not constantly do it, but
or a pick and pop too. I mean, anything. Yeah. I mean, they do run pick and pops with.
They do run pick and pops with
Al Horford as well, because they, you know what, in Boston that was a killer. The difference was it wasn't always for three. There was that mid-range elbow
jumper. Yeah. Now, I would love to see them run a pick and roll where Ben Simmons is setting the pick with a Tobias or Ben Simmons is setting the pick with a Joel. Like, as crazy as that sounds, but they have the height and the skill to be able to do that. But I think that's another reason that Tobias doesn't get, his shots off in certain positions, because it's like he's comfortable with those shots. He's comfortable with the pick and pop, being the screener as well. And it's so many different things with Philly. We could go on forever about him, but I just feel like his percentage dropped because they don't know what they're doing enough for him to consistently know when and where he's getting his shots from.
No, that's a reasonable point. It's filled with logic, and it definitely makes sense on a reason why this could be. Now, the Ben Simmons thing, it's so hard not to talk about Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and you're talking about him maybe setting the screen, rolling to the basket. There were a few games this year where he was phenomenal at that, rolling to the basket, being on the move, getting a bounce pass, or whatever the case may be. I like Ben at the point guard. I think, there's this conversation. He's not a point guard. He's not this. He's not that. He's a guy who his best skill set is facilitating. I don't know how else you could possibly facilitate when you take the ball out of your hands so many times. So I think Ben does need to play point guard, but I think there is something to be said about the way that he sets screens and rolls to the basket as well. So if you have someone who does both so well, how do you think that they should approach this?
It's nothing wrong with him being the point guard and still setting the pick. I imagine a set where, all right, what's that lineup that we always say Who would you say are the best 3 shooters on Philly?
Ooh, the best 3 shooters. So,
3-point shooters. 3-point shooters.
Furkan Korkmaz is the best.
Okay.
Ew, I can't believe that just came out of my mouth.
Hey, man. Hey, call it what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Tobias Harris and well, I'm looking through the list. I mean, like, I don't know what Alec Burks' percentage is. Could it be Alec Burks? It possibly could be.
So let's say
Shake
those
Milton
3
is also in the mix as well.
Okay. So let's say
Richardson.
you got.
I mean, there's a couple guys. So
they can all make one.
Yes.
But let's say you have a set where Ben Simmons is bringing up the floor, half court set where you put a Shake Milton in the corner. You know what I mean? You got Joel out there on the wing or whatever, and then towards the top of the key, but a little bit further over, you got Furkan. Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris on one side of the floor. Now, obviously, Ben Simmons has his other choices if they set a screen on the weak side, but then Ben Simmons comes down, chucks it right to Tobias Harris, comes off a screen. That's his time to roll. He's still the point guard technically, but that's when you have Tobias either coming off and hitting his little quick mid-range shot, which nobody talks about, that he's probably the best on the team of just his pull-up jumper, or he's coming off because they sagged off, he's hitting his 3, or he's getting all the way to the basket, or he's throwing a lob to Ben Simmons. But there's a million options where he's still the point guard, and every now and then he just mixes it up by throwing in a screen and roll.
The problem is you can't have him standing in the dunker spot. I think that's pretty much the thing that he can't do, and that's the problem. So you got to find other ways to utilize him when he doesn't have the ball in his hands that's not standing in the dunker spot, because it does nothing. And the spacing is completely whack when he does it, but you also can't take Ben Simmons off the floor either. I mean, he's that important. So this is one hell of an interesting puzzle. And I guess the problem is we don't know if the puzzle is missing a piece or not yet, right? I mean, imagine putting together a 500-piece puzzle and there's 2 pieces missing. And you're like, oh, my God, what the hell do I do? We don't know yet. We don't know. We don't know what's going on.
Exactly. I have so much faith in his ability to pass out of the post. Like, let's say he does get in the pick and roll on the weak side, Tobias catches it, and then they're like scrambling. Like, I have faith that Ben Simmons is going to find the open shooter. You know what I mean? Like, a pick and roll doesn't necessarily mean that something has to happen right then. A pick and roll doesn't have to mean that the guy who set that first pick has to keep setting them. But I would love to see Philly just a little bit more, man. Just a little bit more pick and roll, because I feel like that changes the game. But like you said, I think part of that is the fact that if Ben Simmons is getting a pick set for him, he really only has one option: get downhill. Because if they sag off of him and go under it, he's not pulling up. Or Joel Embiid's clogging up the lane. You know what I mean? But I think all of those things, I think those schemes getting figured out by the Sixers make Tobias that much more effective.
Yeah, no doubt. And the one thing that does get me a little irritated with Ben is you mentioned him being in the post. Sometimes he's in the post and he does that turnaround. It's not even a hook shot. It's almost like a
floater.
Yeah, kind of. And I just like, you take that shot, which you practice, and you know what? Sometimes it looks good and it's in rhythm and fine. I'll live with them. I'm not saying I won't live with them. But then there's times where you are literally left so wide open from the free throw line, and it's like, dude, shoot the ball. Shoot the ball. That's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I want to talk about Matisse Thybulle, though, because we did touch on Matisse and the dog thing. You know, he hit a wall at the stopping point of the season, and he wasn't what he once was, and it makes a lot of sense. You go from Washington, where you play, what is the full college season? Is it around 30 games or so?
If you make it all the way to the end, the last game is the 40th.
Okay,
so
exactly.
most players get around 30.
Okay, now you're playing 82 against grown men, and the length of the schedule is different, and you're playing consistently. It's a totally different vibe, going to the West Coast and hitting all these swings. So I get hitting a rookie wall. I'm not knocking him for doing it. A ton of people do it, but it happened. And I just wonder if, now that he had a couple months off, will he be refreshed and ready to go and make more of an impact? Now, I guess the question is, how many minutes do you see for Matisse Thybulle when things kick back off? Do you think he touches 20? I mean, look, there's a lot of people that you got to fill in. Furkan, Glenn Robinson III, Alec Burks, Shake Milton. There's a lot of players that have to sneak into these minutes.
I think what happened with Matisse Thybulle is exactly how you just described it. It's 2 parts. It's exactly how you described it, in the sense of you're a college kid, now you're getting adjusted. But the other thing is he moved up on a lot of people's scouting reports. Now you know what he's gonna do. You know what he's gonna get, like what you're gonna get out of him. At first, it was like, that's just a rookie. He's kind of making some noise. He has a couple steals, and then when the season ended in March, let's say around January, February, guys started looking like, all right, hold up, we got to watch out for him with this. We got to watch out for him with that, and that's why he hit that wall. But to be completely honest, I think for that reason is why he doesn't play a whole lot in these playoffs. It's if you're gonna throw him out there to the Wolves in the playoffs to get more experience and have him that much more ready for next year, hell yeah. But because he hit that wall right before things stopped, it's like I don't think it's necessarily to go with somebody who's a bit of a wild card and at the end of the day still a rookie. I think this is the time for Furkan. This is the time for Mike Scott, because you know that they know what the playoffs is, which is an entirely different game. Like, he was struggling with that mid-season feel when a lot of teams start to realize that, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, if we don't win this game or that game, we're gonna miss the playoffs. He was struggling with that time. So if you throw him out there, understand that it's gonna be a bit of some growth pains. But like I said, unless you're trying to get him ready for next year, the playoffs isn't the time to experiment.
I think he's going to get some time, though. I mean, he made too much of an impact. Yeah, he made too much of an
I'm just saying not 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah, 20 minutes might be a little strong. See, the thing is, and once again, this was when he was hitting his wall, though. Sometimes the spurts of Matisse Thybulle was great. If you saw him for 6 minutes, he got a steal in those 6 minutes, and he was disruptive, then he goes to the bench. And then maybe he pops back in for 5 minutes, he gets a deflection, it goes out of bounds, but that's it. And then he goes back to the bench. Like in short spurts, you get a little how do you do out of him. But you mentioned something that's interesting, experimenting and whatnot in the playoffs. I would sense that Brett Brown knows where he is, and I would think that he understands this is a postseason where he's got to perform. He's got to win. He's got to make it far. And will he put a rookie out there if he is questioning his job? I mean, Alec Burks is more of a veteran that can play that spot, and he can shoot the ball as well. Furkan, look, I'm not a Furkan guy. He's going to get absolutely destroyed in the half-court set. It's just reality. It's no knock on him. It's just the fact that that's his body. He's not going to be able to move quick enough. There's people who are way more athletic, and when the game slows down, it's different. But he's going to get an opportunity because he can shoot the ball from three. And if he has one of those games where he's shooting 5 for 5 from three, you keep him in. But if he misses the first three-pointers he takes and he allows 6 points defensively, I'm pretty sure Brett will understand that it's a quick trigger for him. But I mean, it's just I don't know which way Brett Brown is going to go when it comes to this bench. There are so many players that you got to put in there. And look, we're expecting Shake Milton to just step in and be this player. We don't know what he's going to be. Is Raul Neto out of the lineup completely? Is he going to be a DNP? Or is he someone that he can rely on to give you, hear me out, look, Shake Milton has played a handful of games, literally a handful. Raul Neto has been in this league. I don't think Raul Neto's good at all. I think he stinks, to be honest with you. But here's Brett Brown in a playoff game who might need 5 minutes of backup point guard. Is it possible where you have a veteran point guard who, what is he? He is your traditional standard point guard who will make the standard traditional point guard play? Is he someone who's in the mix for 5 minutes, if need be, that you can trust with the ball in his hands?
Yes, but I don't think that's necessarily.
Shake Milton has literally played like 6 games this year during that back stretch. It was a handful of games. I'm going to look it up exactly.
He has, but I just think it's something so funny about constantly changing the lineup and constantly throwing in. At the end of the day, when you're out there, I'm pretty sure you know this when you're out there on the ice. And those other 4 guys on the court, you know what you're going to get out of them. You know, because y'all have played together in practice. This has been the lineup that has been, together. You guys have constantly played. You guys have constantly had y'all sets down. You kind of get to a point where y'all know what y'all going to do before y'all even do it. When you start adding in or taking out too many different players for short spurts of times like that, unless y'all have that figured out as a team, which the Sixers obviously don't, that it just messes things up. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm not saying that I'm against any of them. It's just, I hope that it's not like, oh, this guy only gets 5 minutes here, that guy gets 10 minutes there. And next thing you know, the lineup is so wonky and kind of almost no fluidity to the, the lineup. It's almost too strategic. It's like I'm trying to think, like they're performing like they're performing surgery. Like, oh, we're going to use this at that time and that at that time. Like, nah, man, just let it kind of flow. Let the game go out there. And I think that's the beauty of a Matisse and a Shake Milton, is at the end of the day, those are young guys that if you throw them out there and they don't produce, you snatch them. Now you have the older guys like the Mike Scotts, you know, that you go and put in there, and they understand what you're going to get out of them. But you don't have to depend on Shake Milton right now. You don't have to depend on Matisse Thybulle right now. Do I think they're intricate parts of this franchise's future? Hell yeah. But they don't have to be the guys right now. And that's what I'm saying. Right now ain't the time to be gambling. Because like you said, I think I'm not going to say everything's on the line for Brett Brown, but I'd be bullshitting you if I felt like this wasn't, if something doesn't happen now, it's going to be kind of hard to defend them.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Something definitely does have to happen. And so Shake Milton started 16 games, not 6 games, 16 games. But still, I mean, you're talking about someone we're literally discussing starting in an NBA playoff game. And yeah. I think that, that's just something I don't know if you can rely on. But during that time, he had the game against the Clippers. And other than that, he was just a nice player. It's not as if he took over all these games. So the hype is a little high. I'm just questioning, is Neto out of the lineup? I don't want him to be playing that many minutes. I want to be clear. I'm looking at the bench. I'm looking at how Brett Brown has utilized his rotation since he's been here. Mm-hmm. I don't think that it is out of the question that if he needs 5 minutes, but you could argue maybe Josh Richardson becomes the primary ball handler in those moments, and maybe you can live with that instead. And, Josh Richardson is such an interesting piece.
I was about to say, we probably talk about him the least.
I do.
Man, he is a bona fide starter. You know what I mean?
I will say this. With where we are at time, maybe that's for next episode because we still have some players to get into. And we'll leave the fans with a little tease. How about that? A little tease. You got to wait. You got to wait to hear about Josh Richardson. You got to wait to hear about a couple other teammates, all right?
I like that.
That's how we're going to do it. So, how about that? Another episode. That was fun.
That was good.
Yeah. I thought that was a good one. Just bang, 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 bang. Just getting thrown with all these bang, bang hoops. We don't stop. That's the beauty of thing. We don't stop. There's no sports on. There hasn't been one damn basketball game since we started. Guess what? We're hitting each other up every night. Yo, what do you want to talk about? What do I want to talk about? I just send the basketball emojis. I'll just send a gif of me out in the driveway throwing down a tomahawk slam, and then when it zooms out, you realize it was like a Fisher-Price net. It wasn't even a 10-footer, right? It's like a plastic net. What are you going to do? I can't dunk, dude. I can't touch the rim.
Yo, I would cry.
I can't touch the rim.
Hoop with us.
I could barely even touch the net. Isn't that bad?
You serious?
I don't know. Probably I could.
I was about to say, I feel like you got some hops to you.
Nah. Don't let it fool you, dude. I got look, I'm athletic, but I don't know if I'm basketball athletic. You know what I mean?
See this.
Well, I mean, when we're talking about like dunking the ball, no, I'm not going to be able to run down a lane and just windmill that shit and fucking look. I'm picking up from the free throw line with the ball in one hand. Oh, I can't palm a ball. What do you think this is? I'm 5'11" and 3/4. So what do you want me to do?
We're gonna have to see this.
Well, look, I will make every person earn it. I mean, we've been through it. No matter what, you'll earn it, and you'll know I'm there. But I might not win, but I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
It's pride. It's pride.
Yeah. Stop. I'll wear that headband too. I want Jay right in my corner so he can see me on the court. You know what? Let me get this straight. If there was a guy who was dropping 42 points a game in AAU, and Jay Wright's there with a little stat sheet with the highlighter or crossing off names or whatever they do, and this guy has a ninja headband on, is he just right off? Nope. Not doing it.
Nah, because the headband can come off.
See, the fact that the headband has to come off, I'm disgusted. I'm telling you, we got to work on having him on the show.
When's the last time you seen a Nova basketball player with a headband?
But if you're dropping 45 points, 46 points, you're telling me you won't sacrifice the headband?
When's the last time you seen a college basketball player dropping 46 points?
Well, next year when I commit to Nova.
I still got about 4 years eligibility.
Well, actually, since I played 2 years of NCAA college hockey, I guess I only have 2 years left. Oh, man, I only got 2 years to win a national championship.
I might have to make a phone call.
Yeah, dude.
That's another thing, too. Real quick, I'm going to just say this.
Yeah.
We still got to talk about this Sadiq thing. Another thing that has to, we're going to say that for the next episode.
Yes.
Sadiq Bey, the Sixers are lining him up. We talk about guys shooting. We talk about defensive guys. But I'm still putting my money on it right now, and I say it on air. I still think another championship is coming through Lancaster Ave.
Ooh. Do you like this new recruiting class they got coming in? Do you know some deets that you're not spilling?
There is no recruiting class.
Oh.
They got one transfer named Caleb Daniels, and he's stepping up. He's eligible to play now. But everybody else is just moving up. There is no recruiting class.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that common?
Huh?
Is that common?
No. But they have so many guys who are sophomore. You understand, like last year, they didn't have any seniors on the floor. It was only one senior to walk on. The juniors were the leaders. You know what I mean? And this year, it's still sophomore and junior heavy.
That's how he does it, huh? He brings in those freshmen, and then they work their way up. So then by their junior year, they're disgusting, and then they all stay there. Then their senior year, they're even more disgusting. They win the national championship. They rip off the headbands, and they repeat. It's ridiculous. What a genius mindset. Why doesn't everybody else do that? All right, we're ending this damn show. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Processed, and we will see you next time.